Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told how to voice radio, so today, for the second time today, I am showing you a Pokemon card, which we've talked about before, that is coming as a fighting type, and is significantly better as a fighting type than it was as a psychic type. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting a reprint of the Toxicroak from Sun and Moon 5 Ultra Prism. In Japan, it's coming out in Sun and Moon 5 Plus, which means in the UK, US, Europe, etc., we're going to be getting it in our Sun and Moon 6 set, Forbidden Light, which is coming out in May. And as I've said, it used to be a psychic type. It has now become a fighting type. And it's better as a fighting type. Quite a bit better, to be perfectly honest with you, as a fighting type. Now, first of all, you get Strong Energy, which is fantastic because this is a Pokemon that attacks for a single energy. Secondly, you get Brooklet Hill, and it turns out we are getting a fighting type Croagunk in Sun and Moon 5 Plus. I don't have a picture of it right now, but I've spoken to people in the know. We are getting a fighting type Croagunk. This was first revealed on Pokebeach.com. They said there's going to be a fighting Croagunk, and I have a source in the know, shall we say, let's leave it nice and cryptic, who has told me the exact same thing. So Brooklet Hill is going to be able to grab your Croagunk, and every time we talk about a fighting type Pokemon, we've got to mention Buzzwole. In terms of partner Pokemon, Buzzwole is about as good as you get. Basic Pokemon, can be searched with Brooklet Hill, can use Strong Energy, and just sits there and mashes. Single energy, basic Pokemon, really, really good. So you get all of those advantages. Then, of course, being a fighting type means you're hitting Zoroark, or as I like to call it, the best Pokemon in the format at the moment. And, of course, Silvally, who still sees a fair bit of, is that you lose that easy access to Garbodor, which is a slight pain. And it means you're not hitting weakness against Buzzwole, which is also a very good, very widely played Pokemon at the moment. And your weakness has gone from Psychic weakness to Psychic weakness. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Psychic or Poison Pokemon that become Psychic have a Psychic weakness. Fighting Pokemon end up with a Psychic weakness in the game. So your weakness is the same. It's bad if you ever come across a Garbodor, it will destroy you. Of course, if you're a fighting Pokemon that was ground type in the game, like the aforementioned Garchomp, then you come into the trading card game with a grass weakness. Boom, knowledge. Now the real highlight of Toxicroak is the second attack. 2 colorless energy, 50 damage. If any of your Psychic Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this attack does 70 more damage. Now, this is damage from an attack. If you're KO'd by poison or burn, doesn't count. If you're KO'd by an ability, let's say Decidueye GX, doesn't count. It's got to be damage from an attack. And to be fair, it's got to be during your opponent's last turn, whereas Poison actually kicks in and KOs you between turns anyway. Now, I really like this. This is taking the alternate type to a new level, because the Psychic Toxicroak did more damage if you had a fighting Pokemon KO'd the previous turn, whereas the Fighting Toxicroak does more damage if you had a Psychic Pokemon KO'd the previous turn. It works out rather nicely indeed. Thing is, this is great. Double colorless energy, of course, makes it a single energy attack, which is really good. But also, this just gets a really easy KO on Zoroark. You're hitting 120, you double it for weakness, you're doing 240, so very easy KO. Now, the thing about the Psychic Toxicroak was, you get a one-hit KO on a Buzzwole, nice. But now with a Fighting Toxicroak, you get a one-hit KO on a Zoroark or a Silvally or something like that, which is really quite nice. Now, I've said in a couple videos lately, like for instance Lucario GX, doing 120 with a fighting Pokemon is wonderful, because 120, add a Choice Band 150, add a Strong Energy 170, and then you're doing enough to KO a Tapu Lele, and of course a 120 normal is enough to KO a Zoroark. But it's not quite so easy with Toxicroak here, because you need 2 energy. Now, the best thing to do here is just play a double colorless energy. which is fine, but if you just play a double colourless energy, you're not playing strong energy, which means with a choice band you're only hitting 150, which means you're not getting a KO on something like a Tapu Lele. Ladies and gentlemen, might I present to you Regirock EX. Regirock EX is another brilliant thing you get as a fighting Pokemon that you do not get as a not fighting Pokemon. And it means that all of your attacks do 10 more damage to the active. It means that you can add damage without using strong energy, so you can get a KO on a Tapu Lele here. And I like this a lot. And I started this video saying that Toxicroak is much better as a fighting Pokemon. It is. You don't really get a one-hit KO on a Tapu Lele using a Psychic Toxicroak. You can with a fighting Toxicroak. That's what makes it so much better. And then, of course, there is a great thing you can do by playing both the Toxicroak together. I'm still a huge fan of playing the fighting Croagunk because of Brooklet Hill. And what you do is you just go back and forth. Your opponent KOs a Psychic Toxicroak, you bring in the fighting and hit for 120, at least. They then KO the fighting Toxicroak, so you bring in the Psychic. Because every time a fighting Toxicroak is knocked out, next turn the Psychic one does more damage, and every time a Psychic one is knocked out the next turn, the fighting one does more damage. And to be honest here, you could play this either with Buzzwole, or you could play it with Garbodor, or you could just play some big mashup deck, couple of Garbodor, couple of Buzzwole, and your Toxicroak. Garbodor gets KO'd, in comes fighting Toxicroak. Buzzwole gets KO'd, in comes Psychic Toxicroak. And you're hitting for weakness, like I keep saying on Zoroark and Buzzwole. They are superbly relevant weaknesses to be hitting at the moment. It really is quite a lot of fun. But you can always just pick and choose which one you want. Do remember, though, that if a fighting Pokemon gets KO'd, you need to go for the Psychic one. But then, of course, you don't necessarily need Psychic Energy. Double Colourless will do it. So even if you want to play a fighting deck with the Psychic Toxicroak, you don't need to play any Psychic Energy, which does give you a big ol' advantage. I was not a huge fan of the Psychic Toxicroak, though I did see use for it as a Buzzwole counter in the mirror, for instance. But now that we've got the pair of them, and the fighting one is better, I see a lot more use for Toxicroak. I think it is significantly better. Now, there is a first attack here, but I'm going to be honest with you, we've left it this late in the video because it's not terribly exciting. 30 damage plus poison. I mean, it's fine, but it is much better as a fighting Pokemon, because that 30 damage becomes 50 with a strong energy, 80 with a choice band, and then potentially 90 or more when you bring in Regirock. So whereas it was a very bad attack, or at least a very underwhelming attack with the Psychic Toxicroak, it's actually a pretty good attack with the fighting Toxicroak, because then of course poison damage kicks in. So with strong energy choice band 1 Regirock, for argument's sake, that's 100 damage. 30 base plus 20 for the strong energy, 30 for the choice band, that brings you up to 80, 90 when you add in the Regirock, 100 when the poison kicks in. It's not the reason to play it, and certainly if you want a single energy fighting attacker, I still think you're better off with Buzzwole, who does 30 to the active, but instead of poison, does 30 to the bench, which I would personally prefer, and it's a basic, not a stage 1. So I still think this first attack is underwhelming, though it is much better on the fighting type Toxicroak than it is on the psychic type Toxicroak. Either way, these two Pokemon, the two alternate typings, really do work absolutely beautifully, because they revenge each other, and that alone is absolutely wonderful. I'm going to give Toxicroak a nice solid between 3 and 4 Wossies. We don't give half Wossies, that would be barbaric. It's a good tech, it's a decent revenge attacker, but it's just kind of awkward that the fighting type has to have had a psychic Pokemon KO'd the previous turn. Although while we're here, do remember that Tapu Lele is a psychic Pokemon, so anytime your Tapu Lele gets KO'd, in comes fighting Toxicroak for the revenge. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, there's a new card, or at least an alternate type of an existing card, which I'm absolutely fine with. I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWossy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. Oh yeah, there's going to be a stream at like 7 PM UK time tomorrow. I would recommend joining in, it will be fun. Make sure you check out Wossy Plays, my video game channel, for more fun times, and if you want to support the channel, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCG Radio. But for now, by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.